My name is Max. I am 31, oldest of two, the one who files everyone's taxes and remembers Wi-Fi passwords. I write boring code for a payment company and save my paychecks like a squirrel with anxiety. I do not drink much. I run at night. I have an Excel sheet for everything. In my family, I am the stable one, which is another way of saying the one who will fix it when we break it. My sister Lena is 27 and bright in a loud way. Big laugh, big gestures, big ideas. She jumps from job to job the way you scroll through apps. When she calls, it is always a 2 minutes promise. And then 1 hour later, I am Venmoing her because her card randomly declined. Dad retired early and watches sports with the T5 louder than a jet engine. Mom keeps the peace by avoiding the truth and telling everyone what they want to hear, especially Lena. Sunday dinner at my parents' place is a ritual. Meatballs, garlic bread, a too long prayer. I show up with a salad because I am the responsible eater. The table is already set when I walk in. Dad is on the couch arguing with a referee through the screen. Lena is at the kitchen island tapping through her phone like it owes her money. Mom hugs me, smells like laundry detergent and rosemary. We sit past dishes, fake small talk. I am halfway through my second meatball when Mom clears her throat and folds her napkin like she is about to deliver a sermon. Your sister deserves your bonus. Mom says she is struggling. The fork pauses in my hand. I glance at Dad. He does not look up. Lena puts on a soft voice I know too well. It is just until next month. My apartment wants an additional deposit. Stupid policy. It is not policy, Dad mutters. It is because you were late twice. Mom cuts him a look. Back to me. 11,000. You have it. She needs it. Family helps family. I stare at the red sauce on my plate. My chest tightens the way it does before a steep hill on a run. There is a picture on the wall of the three of us at the beach. Dad sunburned, Lena holding a kite, me in a hat that did not fit. I feel 12 again, sensible, boring, useful. Lena leans forward. Maxie, you got that bonus for like fixing fraud or whatever. You barely even celebrate. Let me know. I say just that, a clean word. It lands like a dropped glass. Mom's lips press together. Don't be dramatic. Dad finally looks over. It is a loan. It is a no, I repeat. And I can feel the air change, thin and sharp, like the house turned at an angle I had never noticed before. You do not say no once in my family. You say it, and then you get a round of revisions. When I was 18, I worked nights at a grocery store and used my first paycheck to buy Lena a graphing calculator because Mom said hers got lost. In college, I skipped spring break to wire 3 months' rent when Dad's consulting check got held. When Lena wanted to switch majors one last time, I covered the extra fees. It was always temporary. It was always urgent. It was always me. I am not a hero. I am a spreadsheet with legs. I kept doing it because it was easier than fighting, and because somewhere inside, I believed that if I kept paying, one day I would be seen as more than a wallet. I pictured a future where they said thank you in a way that stuck. Then I got the bonus. Mid-year, we had stopped a fraud ring. My manager said, nice job. Human Resources said direct deposit on Friday. I did not post about it. I moved a chunk to savings, and another to a brokerage account I named Portugal. A joke with myself, a tab in my brain labeled someday. After dinner, I put on coffee while Mom rinsed plates. This is a family crisis, she said, voice low, water running. Lena could be evicted. In April, she was not paying rent because she was in Tulum. I said her words. She was networking. Mom said, as if networking meant infinity mimosas and pool floats shaped like swans. Lena appeared in the doorway with her phone. Max, listen. The deposit is just, it is a show of good faith. They see the funds. They chill. Dad turned up the T5 volume. It is $11,000, not a kidney. It is $11,000, I said, louder than I meant to. The coffee machine choked and sputtered. Why is it always me? Mom's face went stiff. Because you can. That is why God gives more to some so they can help. I felt something sour crawl up my throat. God did not sign her lease. Lena's eyes flashed. I am trying, okay? I had 2 interviews this week. You left one halfway through to take a call, I said. She told me like it was funny. And the other, you asked for remote from day one. That is normal now, she snapped. You are ancient enough. Mom said, we are not doing this. I thought we were done. We were not. Monday at 7:18 a.m., I woke to a text from Mom. We will need the transfer by Friday, no question mark. Then from Lena, can you just zell it in chunks if that is easier? Like 3,000, 3,000, 5,000? A calendar invite popped up from Mom titled, Security Deposit Family. I did not accept it. At lunch, Dad called. Your mother is stressed. Be a good son. Being a good son is not the same as being a quiet wallet, I said. He sighed. We did a lot for you. Remember who co-signed your first car? You co-signed and I paid every month on time. You are cold lately, he said, like it was a diagnosis. At 3:06 p.m., Lena sent a screenshot from her building's portal with a big red pending caption. This is literally my home. Then another, a selfie with shiny eyes, the lighting suspiciously tear-adjacent. Why do you hate me? I put my phone face down and tried to work. The fraud dashboard blinked numbers. I kept thinking of that phrase Mom used, deserve your bonus. Like I had won a prize and forgot it was hers to hand out. Like effort was communal, but rewards were not. By evening, the group chat had opinions. Aunt Vera, we always help our own. Cousin Jade, Lena couch surfing would be humiliating for the family. Mom, Max loves us. He will do the right thing. It felt like someone had rented a billboard with my name and put Grinch on it in bold. I drove to their apartment to drop off a toolbox Dad wanted. I did not want to go up. I did anyway. The building smelled like old carpet and lemon cleaner. Mom opened the door before I knocked, like she had been waiting. We cannot sleep, she said. Just send it and we will all move on. Lena hovered behind her, phone in hand. 11. It is specific because of the pet fee. They are being insane. You do not have a pet, I said. She smiled, guilty and not. We are fostering first. I already got the bed and a tiny blue collar. She held up a bag. A tag dangled. It said Bailey in sparkly letters. He deserves a home. I stared at the tag. Something in me tightened like a wire. I pictured Portugal in my brokerage account, my silly tab, my someday heir. I pictured giving it away to a leash no one had asked me about. No, I said again. Quiet, final. Mom's face hardened in a way I had only seen on strangers. You are not family today, Maxwell. You are a calculator. I nodded, because that is what it felt like. Then I turned and left, because I knew the next thing out of my mouth would be something I could not take back. The first real hit came the next morning. Not money, reputation. A screenshot landed in my messages. Group chat with my name in it. Lena, Max says homelessness is a lesson. Aunt Vera, he has been different since he got that job. Dad, money changed him. Mom, pray for his heart. I did not reply, but I took a screenshot of my own. Transfers from the last 3 years. Line after line. $800 for car repair. $1,250 for deposit refill. $400 for an interview suit. $2,000 credit card. Only this time I sent it to Mom and Dad directly. No caption. Mom responded with a single bubble. We did not ask for those. That was the moment I realized the trap. If I pay, I am doing my duty. If I do not, I am cruel. If I already paid, it never happened. By Wednesday, it was not just texts. It was pressure disguised as help. Aunt Vera offered to mediate. Jade suggested I do half now, half later. Dad said, take a loan against your bonus if you must. Lena posted a story with a quote. When people with plenty will not share, it is poverty of soul. The comments were little clapping hands. I kept my head down and watched something inside me shift from guilty to tired to clear. Clarity is quiet. It shows up like a closed door that does not need slamming. Thursday night, family dinner, take 2. I did not plan to go. Then Mom called and said, come, we need to settle this like adults. Her tone said, court date, not pasta. I brought a folder. Not to be dramatic, to be precise. When I walked in, the table was set, but no food was out. Dad stood by the window. Lena had brought backup. Her boyfriend Tom, who once told me, credit scores are fake constructs. He nodded at me like we were teammates. We were not. Mom gestured to the chairs. Let us sit. I put the folder down. Before we start, ground rule, no shouting, no scripture, no threats, just facts. Dad scoffed. Who do you think you are, a judge? I think I am a man who is paid enough to ask for silence. Lena rolled her eyes. This is creepy, Max. Okay, Mom said, palms up. Facts. I slid out the first sheet, a simple table. Dates, amounts, purposes, last 3 years, I said. Totals to $19,430 in transfers to Lena, plus another $3,600 in utilities and phone lines I covered when Dad's card glitched. Mom opened her mouth. I held up a hand. Second sheet. It was a printout from Lena's building website where I had created a guest account to read the actual notice. Not eviction, not even final warning. They asked for a deposit increase of $2,500 because of 2 late payments, I read, not 11. Lena blinked. There is also the pet. Pet fees total $500 non-refundable, plus $30 a month, I said. New math still equals less than 11. Tom coughed. You do not know their flexibility. You are right, I said. I called them. Flexibility means you can pay in 2 parts. There is also a hardship form. I slid the form across. Mom's cheeks flushed. You went behind our backs. I went behind the billboard you made with my name on it, I said. Fact 4. I lifted my phone and read from a note. Group chat claims I said homelessness is a lesson. I did not. Here is what I said to Lena. I turned the screen. Budgets are boundaries, not punishments. Corny, yes, not cruel. Dad's jaw flexed. Is this about embarrassing us? It is about not being a bank you can rob with a sad face, I said, and my voice shook for the first time. Not with fear, but with the weight of all the times I had swallowed words. I am not doing it anymore. Lena tried a different angle. Soft, Max, I am scared. They have been intense. I do not have anywhere else. You have options that start with phone calls you do not want to make, I said. I pointed to the hardship form. Option 1. Option 2. You sell the designer couch you financed. Option 3. You move to a smaller place. Option 4. You ask the man sitting next to you to contribute more than vibes. Tom lifted his hands. I am building a startup. So is your barber from the looks of it, I said, because sometimes pettiness is a vitamin. Mom's voice sharpened. Enough. Your sister deserves your bonus. She has been through so much. You sit on money. I nodded. Yes, Mom. I sit on money because I learned that when I stand on it, you pull the rug. Fact 5. I slid the last page. A simple plan I had written for myself on Sunday after meatballs. Starting next month, I am moving. New job lets me go remote. Rent is cheaper. It is time. Silence. Then laughter. Mom's short and disbelieving. Where? Across town. Lisbon, I said. And before you say that is dramatic, I have been saving for a long time. You just never asked about anything I wanted that was not an invoice. Lena squinted. You are not serious. I am. And I have made a decision, I said, hands flat on the table so I would not clench them. I will not transfer 11,000. I will not transfer 2,000. I will not transfer 30. I am not your cushion anymore. If you need help filling a form, I will help. If you need a budget, I will sit with you. But I will not fund choices I did not make. Dad's voice dropped into that warning tone I knew from childhood. Careful how you talk to your mother. Careful how you talk to your son, I said back, and the shock on his face told me he did not expect me to have a spine. Mom stood up so fast her chair squealed. You are abandoning us. You keep using that word, I said. I think you mean you are not paying. Those are different. Lena slammed her palm on the table. So, you are fine with me getting kicked out? You will not be. You will fill the form. And if I do not, she shot back. Then you will learn what rent means, I said. And there it was, the line. I heard how it sounded. Firm, not cruel. Boundaries always sound mean to people who benefited from your lack of them. Mom's eyes went glassy. I misraised you. You raised me to fix things, I said. I am finally fixing the right one. Dad reached for the folder and pushed it back at me like a bad report card. Take your papers. This family does not run on receipts. Maybe it should, I said. I slid the folder into my bag, stood, and felt that wire inside me stop vibrating. I did not feel heroic. I felt tired and clear. On the way out, Lena called after me. You will regret this when we are not talking. I turned. We have not really been talking for years. We have been transacting. I left to the sound of Mom saying, we will get a lawyer, like I had stolen something. I had not. I just stopped giving. By the time I got home, they had already drafted a new play. Shock and awe, 19 texts. Be reasonable. We raised you. Wire it now and we will forget your tone. Aunt Vera chimed in with, you will never find a wife with that heart. Tom added a thumbs down. Lena sent me her lease PDF with highlighter like she was my manager. I typed one sentence, do not text again. Then I put my phone on do not disturb, sat at my kitchen table, and opened the Portugal tab for the first time. Not as a joke, but as a door. People think decisions are big dramatic speeches. Sometimes they are quiet tasks done in a row. I made coffee at 9 p.m. and opened 3 tabs. My bank, my broker, my credit cards. I froze every card, not because I was scared they would take them, but because the habit of access had to end. I set new passwords and two-factor from a physical key. I disabled Apple Pay on every device. I logged out of family-shared anything, Netflix, Prime, the cloud where 100 group photos lived. If that sounds cruel, imagine paying rent while someone borrows your login and then tells cousins you hate birthdays. I listed my couch, my bike, my second monitor, and the espresso machine I had babied for 4 years. Cash only, I wrote. Pick up tonight or tomorrow morning. My apartment filled with strangers who said, "Great deal," and left me holding space where things used to be. Each goodbye felt lighter. I pulled out a folder I had labeled, Move with tabs, Lease, Visa, SIM, Health. I had made it 6 months ago in a burst of late-night daring and then tucked it away like a fantasy. Now it was a checklist. I booked a one-way for Tuesday. I messaged my manager and said, "Formal note is coming in the morning, but I'm going remote abroad. I will keep my hours." He replied with a thumbs up and a GIF of a sardine can. Portugal is sardines, right? I laughed for the first time that night. Small, surprised, mine. I called my bank's fraud line and put a voice password on my profile. "No one can call in and cry and reset this," I told the agent. He said, "Happens more than you think." And I believed him. At 11:43 p.m., I opened the family chat to mute it and saw 50 new messages. The tone had shifted. Lena had gone from sweet to scorched. Max is abandoning us. Max has money and does not care. Max is punishing me because he is jealous I have a life. I almost replied with a photo of my empty living room. I did not. I knew better. The goalpost would move. The scoreboard was rigged. Instead, I wrote privately to Mom and Dad, "I am not discussing money by text again. If you need me for anything that does not involve my wallet, call after the weekend." Mom replied instantly, "We have engaged counsel." "Okay," I typed. "Please have them email me." I created a filter. If sender contains the words "at law," label noise. At midnight, I took out a small black notebook where I keep "do it even if scared" lists. I wrote, "Sell everything. Mail keys Monday. Cancel gym. Unlock phone for European Union. Backup photos. Block numbers if they escalate. Remember, I am allowed to have a life." I slept 3 hours. Woke at 4 a.m. to a silent apartment and the faint hum of the fridge, which I would soon unplug. I made toast on a pan, packed a suitcase with clothes I actually wear, left the suit that fits me like a scolding. Took 2 books, passport, the physical security key, the folder, a Polaroid of me at the beach in the hat. At 6 a.m., my phone lit up like a slot machine. Missed calls stacked. 12, 28, 52, 92 by 7:12 a.m. 4 emails from a law office I did not recognize. Subject lines that said "demand" and "family duty," like those words could make a judge appear in my kitchen. I opened one. It was a fake scare letter dressed in big words. "Our client, your mother, asserts that she and her husband have a reasonable expectation of familial support in times of financial distress. Blah blah. Equitable reliance blah immediate transfer recommended to avoid reputational harm." It was nonsense, and also very on brand. I moved them to the filter labeled noise. Not because I do not respect lawyers, but because I refuse to treat blackmail with letterhead as law. I turned off my United States number and set up a new one for travel. Then I did something small that felt huge. I walked to the kitchen drawer with the spare keys that had multiplied like rabbits over the years. Mom's, Dad's, Lena's, for when I need to borrow your blender. I put them in a zip bag, wrote a note returning access, and slid it through their mail slot on my way out. No drama, just boundaries in a baggie. By noon, my couch was gone. My bike was gone. The espresso machine had found a new home with a guy who said, "I am starting over too." We shook hands like 2 people who had survived a storm. The last thing left was the T5. I left it. It had been a mirror more than a window these last months. Anyway, at 3:00 p.m., I met my landlord, handed over a notice and a check for the last month. "Short notice," he said. "Not unkind." "I know," I said. "Family stuff." He nodded in that universal way people do when they do not ask the details, because they have had their own. Back home, I sat on the floor with a bowl of plain pasta and my laptop. I wrote a letter, not to them, but to myself at 22, who worked nights and thought love could be earned with transfers. You did your best. You were generous. Being used is not generosity, it is silence. You are allowed to leave. I taped it inside the folder. At 5 p.m., another volley. "Mom, The family is ashamed. Dad, this will have consequences. Lena, I hope Portugal hates you. A new number. This is Pastor Ed. Your mother is distraught. I typed one line to the group chat and then muted for 1 year. I am not available for this. Then I called an Uber to the airport hotel, because my apartment felt like a ghost had already moved in. At the hotel, I stood underwater so hot it erased thought. After, I lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling. It was not peace exactly. It was a blank space where panic could have been and was not. I slept. No dreams. Woke at 2 a.m. to an email from my manager. Approved. Work from Lisbon. Send address when stable. Attached was a document titled Global Work Tips. Bullet 1. Time zones are boundaries. I liked that. At 5 a.m. I checked in for my flight. I took a photo of my empty keyring. I sent it to myself. Caption, room for new. On the way to the airport, the driver asked, business or vacation? Neither, I said. Life. He smiled like he had heard that before. Security, gate, a coffee, a text from an unknown number. Think of family reputation. Delete another. You will regret this. Maybe I would. Regret is a long game. So is decay. I chose the one where I could breathe. When the plane lifted, I looked down at the grid of my city, the small rectangle of my old block, the river that looked like tinfoil. I did not cry. My eyes stung and then cleared. Somewhere over the ocean, I opened my laptop and built a budget with euros. Line items that started with me. Rent I could afford, groceries that did not include guilt, a line for sardines as a joke to send my manager. A line called yes. Landing felt like stepping into a different frequency. The signs were in a language I was learning. The air smelled like coffee and sea. I caught the metro with a small suitcase and a bigger exhale. At the short-term rental, the host handed me keys on a ring with a tiny tile rooster. Welcome, she said. Thank you, I said, and meant it in a way I had not meant it in a long time. I put my folder on the table, opened my laptop, and sent one email to Mom and Dad with the subject boundaries. In a single paragraph. I will not be sending money now or in the future. I am available for non-financial conversations after we have all cooled off. If you or Lena want help filling out actual forms, I can do that over video next week. If you send threats, group sermons, or lawyers, I will block. I love you from a distance that keeps me safe. Then I hit send, closed the lid, and went outside. The street was narrow and bright. Someone somewhere laughed. Not at me, just laughed. I bought a pastel de nata and ate it leaning against a sun-warmed wall. It tasted like something ordinary and kind. I did not know what came next, but I knew it would be mine. A month later, my mornings are quiet. I run by the river. I work in a small room with a big window. I buy fruit from the lady who gives me an extra orange for luck. At night, I read. Sometimes I take the long tram for no reason except the sound of it. The messages slowed. People tire of outrage when it does not feed them. Mom sent 2 paragraphs about forgiveness that did not include the word sorry, and then silence. Dad forwarded an article about filial piety with no comment. Lena sent a photo of a smaller apartment and below it a question mark. I replied, proud of you. Need help with the form? We filled it out on a call. 20 minutes. No money, she cried at the end. Not because I paid, but because I did not hang up. There is an empty space where panic used to be. I keep it empty on purpose. I learned that boundaries are not walls. They are doors you lock at night so you can sleep. I walk past a shop window some days and catch my reflection. Same face, different posture, less braced. If you need a moral, here is mine. Simple and blunt like a good budget line. I am not a bank. I am a person. Love is not a direct debit. Family is not a subscription you can charge without consent. Your sister deserves your bonus, Mom said. My answer is still no, and now, finally, I am living a life where no is not a fight, it is a fact. Now, I sit sometimes on the little balcony of my Lisbon apartment, watching the trams rattle below, and I let myself feel everything I pushed down for years. The first feeling that comes is grief. Sharp, surprising, almost physical. I grieve the brother I thought I was supposed to be. The one who could fix anything with money and silence. The one they needed so much that I mistook necessity for love. I grieve the version of my family that only existed in my head. The one where gratitude arrives someday, where my efforts were noticed and cherished instead of erased the moment the next crisis appeared. That family never really existed, but I spent a decade mourning its absence anyway, paying installments on a fantasy. Then comes anger, hot and late. I'm angry at them, yes. At Mom for weaponizing guilt like it was scripture. At Dad for retreating into the television whenever accountability walked into the room. At Lena for treating my life like an unlimited data plan. But mostly I'm angry at myself for how long I agreed to the terms. I'm angry that I trained them to see me as a resource instead of a person. Every yes I gave felt small and harmless at the time, but they added up into a cage I built with my own hands. After anger fades, there's a quieter ache, loneliness. I miss Sunday dinners, even the tense ones. I miss the smell of Mom's rosemary and detergent hug. I miss knowing the Wi-Fi password at their house and being the one who could make the printer work. I miss feeling indispensable. Cutting them off didn't just remove toxicity, it removed familiarity, routine, the background noise of belonging. Some nights the silence here is so complete I can hear my own heartbeat, and I wonder if I traded one kind of emptiness for another. Yet underneath all of it, growing slowly like morning light across the Tagus River, is relief so deep it almost feels like joy. For the first time in my adult life, my future is unclaimed. No one is waiting for my bonus, my overtime, my emergency fund. My savings account has only my name on it. My calendar has only my plans. When I run along the waterfront now, my lungs burn for me, not for the next family fire I'll have to put out. When I buy groceries, I buy exactly what I want. No extra carton of oat milk, because Lena might drop by. I am learning, slowly, what it feels like to be the priority in my own story. I'm not healed. Some days I still flinch when my phone buzzes. Some days I open the old group chat, just to look, not to respond, and feel that old wire tighten in my chest. But the flinch is smaller each time. The wire loosens faster. I am becoming someone who can say no without apologizing in the same breath. I am becoming someone who believes his effort, his money, his time, his heart, all of it belongs first to him. I don't know if they'll ever understand. I don't know if we'll ever speak again in a way that feels real. But I know this. I finally chose myself, not out of spite, but out of mercy. Mercy for the exhausted man who kept giving until there was nothing left to give. Mercy for the life I still have time to live. And on the days when the grief or anger or loneliness rises, I let it come. I sit with it on the balcony until it passes, the way clouds pass over the city. Then I stand up, stretch, and go back inside to the small bright rooms I pay for with my own quiet steady work. Rooms that are mine alone. Rooms that are enough.